now to once again, I want to welcome everyone. Thanks for being a part of the stream today. This is the perfect time to get a pen, get a paper ready, begin to share this with everyone you know, invite other people to be a part of this stream today. We're going to talk about internet marketing. We're going to talk about how to launch, grow, and build a better business. There's just a lot of great stuff we're going to cover today, but it really comes down to you just got to get plugged in, right? You've got to figure out right now today, what are the new things we need? And today we got a very special guest speaker, but I want to welcome everyone to the Power Team Live. This is our broadcast today, all about internet marketing, how to build your online plan, how to get new leads, how to convert leads. This is a great time to share the screen. So if you could share the screen as you add into the call, perfect time for that. Make sure you get some notes ready over the next 30 to 45 minutes. You will get a lot of content on how to take your idea, your product, your service, how to generate leads from that, how to generate sales from that, how to increase your revenues. But I do know that if you're just starting out, this is great for you. If you're in business for more than 5 years, this is great for you. If you're plugging in today, you're plugging in because you have a passion to learn fresh ideas, fresh concepts on how to market yourself online, how to get conversions online, how to get plugged in to grow the business. But it really is about, you need to take a lot of notes. You'll have the chance to work with our team. We now have a really great new club just for being online today. You'll all get access to our successclub2020.com site. Everything we'll talk about today applies to almost all businesses. And so I see we've got a nice group that's added now. If you could maybe start a watch party. So I'll put a note there of my team, just start a watch party and begin to share this. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. We're live on a few Facebook channels. This is a good time right now to take a lot of notes. We're going to start in about 3 minutes. So you got about 3 minutes left, 2.5 minutes maybe left to grab a pad of paper, grab a pen, grab something to write with. Get ready over the next 30 to 45 minutes for some incredible impact information on how to market yourself online, how to attract new leads, how to turn those leads into cash, how to set up a sequencing system that is second to none to make sure that you follow up and follow through with new potential customers. And so whether you're on Facebook today, you're on Twitch, you're in LinkedIn, which we don't see the LinkedIn people on the stream, but I appreciate you guys for being there. If you're on, once again, any of our Facebook channels, thanks for being there. Please share the stream, because for 30 to 45 minutes, you're going to learn from one of the top internet marketers in the country how to generate more leads, how to create more sales, how to get connected with your customers even deeper, and how to monetize this stuff. I will tell you that our next speaker, I've known him for his whole life. He's been speaking on stages around the world for nearly a decade now. At 19, he was on the Peak Potentials T. Harv Eker stage. At 21, lectured at Harvard. He's probably given more than 1,000 presentations to different small groups, large groups, all on conversions, all on new ways to make money online, all on how to turn your own database into a lead generation machine by having them share some of your content online. So you don't want to miss even one moment of this 30 to 45 minutes, and then get plugged in. We'll give you a code later on you can plug in for. It'll give you some great gifts. First of all, it'll give you access to a replay of the stream to watch it again, but it'll also give you the opportunity to have a 20-minute session, up to 20-minute session, after you've actually filled an application out, to help have Austin actually look at your funnel. So I want to make sure that you don't miss any of this, so please do me a big favor. We're going to start in about 60 seconds, maybe less. Get your phones on vibrate or mute. Get your stuff ready. Ask questions if you're on the Facebook stream or the Twitch stream or the YouTube stream. We'll have people monitoring those. Facebook's probably the easiest, but we'll see it there. And whether it's Power Team USA or Bill Walsh or the Rainmaker alumni, these are all open for you to plug in, ask questions. We like the like symbols. We like the heart symbols. We like all that stuff. It's great for getting the story going. But I would like to, at this time, bring on our featured speaker for the day. He's someone I'm so proud of. I'm honored to work with him every day. He always challenges me on new ideas. We bounce ideas back and forth, but that's how we get better. It's the only way to sharpen the axe is to get around people that will give you insightful ideas. And of course, that helps you elevate your game, your life, and certainly your business. So let me bring our speaker on right now and see if we can get him on the stream. Austin, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I can't hear you at the moment, but maybe if you can, let's see.
Hello.
I can hear you now, loud and clear. Yeah, you're good now.
All right, cool. What's up?
You're super loud. Everything's going good. We got a lot of folks on, which is great today. A great turnout. So I thought I would turn it over to you and let you kind of go and have some fun. You've got the team there to support. So whether it's a comment needs to be made or something like that, just have the team help with that. But welcome to our Power Team Live Internet Mastery 101 digital workshop, and I'll let you take it away. Thanks for being on.
Thank you. Welcome to the call, everybody. Hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day, and I'm ready to kind of rock and roll with you guys today. It's going to be a fun talk. We're going to go through really what does an entire funnel process look like, and how do we fill that process, and really how can we get some of this online stuff going during these periods of time that we're all going through. A little bit about me. I started off when I was on the online world, probably around 16 years old, helping people build their Facebook presences. It went from there to selling digital products, and then from there to actually launching different people's funnels and products for them, up until launching my own course called Residual Mastery a few years back, probably 5 years ago. And with that, we've been doing that since then, basically, since quarantine hit. It's been quite the process and quite the interesting roadmap, I would say, for the last bit of time. But we're here today to kind of help make things a little bit simpler. And it's really simple, guys. I'm here for you guys today. So if you have questions, ask the questions. I'll do my best to answer everything I see in Twitch and on Facebook. Any of those comments I'll be able to get to pretty quickly. So if you have questions at any period of time, you can ask those questions. And guys, we don't have to repeat every single thing I say in the thing. Just you can highlight the main points, Michelle and Charlotte. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. But if you guys have questions and comments and things you want to talk about, let's do it. That's the reason I'm here. You know, I'd like to go. I like to speak for as long as you want me to speak, and if you got stuff going on, let's keep it interactive as possible. Obviously, I went from speaking all over the country to speaking from my office, which has been fun and very fun and interesting. But I definitely like the interaction and communication with you guys. So, in saying this, I think let's start with, I think the biggest issue that people have is that, you're told to build a website, right? And then the problem with that is that the website that you build typically doesn't work or doesn't convert, or you drive traffic to it and doesn't sell that well, or doesn't sell at all. And so I think the first place we need to start this is really by going through like what is the difference between a website that works, or what's the difference between a website that doesn't work. And so to understand why a website will work or wasn't work, typically when you build a website, what a website looks like is, let's say, a box. And then on that box, you typically have a few different places that people can go to. They can go to your home page. They can go to your About Us page. They can go to your products and services page. They can go to your Contact Us page. They can go look at your photos. They can look at your logos. And then they can go to your social media. And what every single page has in common, doesn't matter what website you're on, they all have a button that when people press it, they leave. It's called your X button, right? So when people press that X button, they leave your website. Now, this is what these websites look like. Obviously, they're a little bit prettier, but they got a home, an About Us, a products and services, Contact Us, social media, photos, and logos. Now, the challenge with these pages is that a few things, right? Typically there's even more logos going, or typically more things to go. But the issue is that number one, if you give a human being a ton of different options, they typically get confused, right? Now, if I were to ask you to watch 7 different movies today, you wouldn't know which one to pick. If you were to have 7 different, I'm sure you're probably all going through this with quarantine, but if you're trying to get food delivered and there's 50 different options, it's hard to pick one, and it takes a long period of time because you're really not sure which one you want to do or not do. So that's reason one. People come to this page, they see a bunch of different options, they get confused. Now, it's important to understand that when somebody gets confused, they always go back to what's familiar. So you have to ask yourself, what's familiar on the internet? Now, familiar on the internet is a few things: Amazon, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, lots of things. But at the end of the day, not your website. They're not familiar with it. So if they're not familiar with it, they're going to leave. That's challenge one. Challenge two is there's only one page on this entire website that actually makes you money, and that's the products and services page. And on the products and services page, you usually have more than one product or service. You have 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 10 to 200 to thousands of products, right? Depending on what you're doing. So when they come here and they see all these different options, they're not sure which one to start with. And when they're not sure which one to start with, what happens is they typically leave and go do what's called research. Now, when they research, you make no money because they're going somewhere else and typically buying somebody else's stuff. So that's no good. And the last issue with these websites is that this website is completely based upon you. It's based upon you and your company. And when it's completely based upon you, at the end of the day, the customer doesn't care about you. They only care about themselves. And so when you have a website that's a corporate website that's all focused on you, that's got too many options and too many products and services offering, what happens is that 90% of people leave immediately. And when they leave immediately, you've now wasted money driving traffic, and you've now wasted money getting someone to the site, and they haven't bought anything, you haven't collected their data, so it's a huge loss. Okay, that's no good. So at the end of the day, you have to be really careful when you're building a site. Is the site designed to talk about you and show you off, or is the site designed to sell? Because there's 2 completely different types of sites. And this site is definitely for someone that's already familiar. It's not for someone that's already this site has to have someone come through that's familiar. It can't just be like some cold traffic. Okay, so that's failure 1, right? Depressing news 1. And now you have to think of a few different things. Now, first thing I always think about is, what do people buy? And at the end of the day, like, I believe that human beings do everything all day long based upon results. Like, I don't think a single one of you would be on this call right now if it wasn't a results oriented for you, right? Like, if I told you were going to come here and nothing was going to happen in your personal life, you probably wouldn't be here. And so the focus of whatever it is that you have to do is that you need to make sure you're selling the result. Okay, you have to make sure you're selling the result. And the second part of this process, so 2 really important things: 1, result. Second thing is, you have to be able to, it doesn't matter what business you're in, you have to be able to generate leads. If you can't generate leads, it becomes very hard to grow. You know, I think it's the most important part of any business is lead generation. And so you got to have leads coming in, and you shouldn't always focus on the customer, focus on the sale. You should focus on making sure that you have consistent lead flow, and then those other things become a natural progression once you have leads coming in. I know for a lot of you right now, if you had 50 to 100 leads extra a week, you'd be fine in quarantine. You wouldn't be worried about it at all because you could sell those leads something. But when you have no leads coming in whatsoever, it doesn't work very well, right? It's quite a loss. And so we need to create something that will actually generate leads for us. Okay. And now we've talked about in the past, all the places that you can get leads from, and I'll just go quick into this, but at the end of the day, I think right now, like, Facebook by far is one of the best places to generate leads. They're Their traffic is very affordable. They have really good quality ad system. It's not very difficult to set up. You just have to make sure you have a converting website. If you don't have a converting website, then doing all this stuff is pretty much pointless. Okay, and so you have to know before you do this or while you're doing this where you're actually gonna get the traffic from. Now, to actually generate, once you have this traffic coming in, typically you have to give away somebody something for free to capture their data, to get them interested. Now, there's tons of different things you can give away for free. Obviously, like everyone's talked about different things, and there's ebooks and audios and videos and all these different things. But at the end of the day, like what I like to give away for free is really simple. 5 to 6 tips to 7 tips tops. And the reason why I like to give those things away is because, one, it takes very little time to go through. And I understand we're in quarantine, so yeah, or some of us aren't in quarantine, but it doesn't matter. People still value their time, and we still live in a country of immediate gratification. And so people want to get the result immediately. Number 2, it takes you very little time to actually create this. It doesn't take a long time for you to go and set up 5 to 7 tips. It takes no time at all whatsoever. And so if you can focus on creating something quickly, this becomes much easier for you to get off the ground. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to give away some kind of tips. Now, what most and the first place we're going to take them to is called the squeeze page. Now, the squeeze page is where you're capturing data. Just think of it as a place you're capturing information. What most pages look like are, they got a video in the left-hand corner and then some copy on the right side, and they have a box that asks for information, and it kind of like this. Just very, very simple here, but video, copy, info, and obviously there's lots of different ways to do this, but this is what a lot of people design. Now, a few challenges here. Challenge number 1 is the average amount of time that someone spends on a website. I'm sure it's probably increased since this has happened, but let's say it's 10 seconds, and it used to be 7, so let's say it's 10 now. But the average video on the internet's over 30 seconds. So the question becomes, is 30 seconds more or less than 10 seconds? And it's more. So you're going to lose people there because they're not going to stay for the entire video. Secondary, this video is typically a video of you talking about yourself, and the customer only cares about themselves. So you're going to lose people doing this, right? So that doesn't work. And then the second process is that in this information tablet right here, where we're asking information, the challenge is that when you ask for too much information, you start to lose conversion. So if you ask for a name, email, phone number, mailing address, social security number, blah, 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 blah. I'm kidding about that. But when you ask for all this stuff, your conversion goes down. And the lower your conversion, the less leads you have. So it's better to ask for less information to increase your conversion. So if you absolutely have to have the phone number, ask for the phone number. But if you don't have to have the phone number, the only thing you need to have is just the email address, because it's almost like real life. Like in real life, when you meet somebody, you ask them for their first name, and then you decide to continue the relationship or not continue the relationship. Same thing on the internet. All you're asking for is just what you need to build and start the relationship, right? So that page, no go. So we want to build a page that looks a lot like this. A few lines of copy, underneath it, an info box. The only thing we're asking for is an email. This copy is about 2 things, 2 very important things. Number 1 is them. And number 2 is the result. So, very simple page. You want to talk about them, you want to talk about the result. The only thing you want to ask for is the email. For example, hey, would you like to lose? Are you someone that's looking to lose 5 to 10 pounds during the quarantine process? Let me give you a few tips exactly on how you can do just that over the next 30 days. Hey, are you looking to make an extra 50 to 100 bucks during this? Let me give you exactly how to do that. And you don't have to overcomplicate this stuff, guys. Make it simple and talk to your potential customer. As long as you're talking to your potential customer, you're in a home run situation here. Okay, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I'll take just 2 seconds, guys. If you have questions on any of this stuff that we're going through, I know it's a little complicated maybe, but if you have questions, you can start asking those questions while I draw out the new thing. If not, we're good. I'll keep rolling. After the squeeze page, what you want to do is obviously follow up in the background, but you want to take them to what's called the sales page. Now, the reason you want to take them to a sales page is not because you expect the person to buy right away. Your goal isn't to sell the person right away. Your goal is to make the person more familiar with what you offer. Familiar is a really important word here, okay? So what a sales page should look like is, let's draw this. On top, you have a headline. Underneath it, you have a video. Underneath that, you have a button. That's a buy button. Is there any way to get the emails from people who like your page or follow you on Instagram? Karen, there is not. They do not allow that. Okay, so sales page, headline, video, buy button. Number one rule of selling stuff online: please do not say anything about buying. Nobody wants to press a buy button. There's 3 words that every single major retailer uses. It's called add to cart. Doesn't matter if you're selling a service. People like pressing add to cart. They're very familiar with it. If people are familiar with it, they have no issue pressing it. So you should probably use the words add to cart. Now, this video, we use a really expensive tool to create this stuff. It's called Microsoft PowerPoint. Pretty cheap. Everyone can make one. Not very difficult to do. And you just want to put an audio transcription over it. If your voice is terrible, then hire someone to use their fancy, cool voice. What I want to do now is kind of walk you through what this video script is supposed to look like and what you're supposed to say and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully everyone's got this. No buy button, add to cart. So in the first 30 seconds is the intro. Boom, easy. First 30 seconds, the intro. What you want to do is not always talk about yourself, but you want to create a relation to the customer. So talk about things that you can relate to people on a personal level or on a business standpoint level. You know, whatever it is. Like what I like to talk about when I speak or when I sell anything is I always talk about how I sold lemonade and then I threw parties, and I'm very transparent and I'm right to the point and I'm no bullshit. And if you can't get down and relate to those three things, then we're probably not a very good fit. So in the intro, what you want to do is relate. Okay, next 90 seconds is you. You want to talk about yourself for about 30 seconds. And then testimonials. So you and then testimonials. Now, it's really important that these testimonials are focused. I think everyone can talk about themselves for 30 seconds, so it should be pretty easy. But you want to make sure that these testimonials are focused on results. Okay, you want to make sure the testimonials are focused on the result. So don't talk about how great of a person you are, how great the company is, or how you can help them with this. Talk about the result. Yeah, I can't really do much about that. You want to make sure that you're really focused on the result, okay? You want to make sure that they get a ton of understanding that when they buy from you, when they work for you, they get a huge result, okay? Now, the next about 90 seconds, move it back, I guess, is you want to talk about the fears and then the qualifications. See, what happens is that, Michelle, we don't need that right now. Let's just focus on this. The fears and the qualifications. What happens when someone's about to buy something is that there's always something in the back of their head that's a fear attached to it. I think probably now more than ever, right? Like I think people totally understand this, that you're really thinking about every financial decision that you make, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't talk about these people's fears, they don't buy. And I think what people are feared of or afraid of the most is obviously one, money is an issue. So you need to talk about the financial situation. 2 is you need to talk about the time commitment that it's going to take when it comes to working with you or buying your stuff. And 3, you need to talk about, will it work? Will it work during quarantine? Will it work during whatever? Will it work, currently, whatever it is, you need to make sure. Yeah, I can show the paper again. The fears and the qualifications. But what you want to do is you want to take this a step further, and you want to take that fear and issue what's called the challenge. Sorry, the marker kind of got messed up. You want to take that fear and issue a challenge. It's the worst handwriting I've had all day. I'm trying so hard to make it nice for you guys. You take a handwriting lesson. Take that fear and issue a challenge. Now, how this works is that you want to tell people, look, if you don't have, the X amount of money to commit to this or the time, that's okay. This probably just isn't a good fit for you right now. There's nothing wrong with turning somebody down. Like, you don't want to just sell people to sell people. You want to make sure that they're the right people to work with. And if they're not the right people to work with, then it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that situation. Okay. It's just understand that you want to challenge people. You want people to say yes. You want people to say no. Those are both okay options. Super, super important. Okay. The next 2 minutes, you want to talk about the product, the service, or the opportunity that you're selling. You want to talk about the product, the service, or the opportunity that you're offering. Okay? Doesn't matter what it is, but explain it, especially right now. And I think this has really changed, but people want to know exactly whatever it is they're buying. Like, people really want to understand that. And so go through and explain it. I don't care if it takes you 60 seconds or 90 seconds or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but at the end of the day, you want to relate back to the result. By week 1, here's the result you can get. By week 3, here's the result you can get. By week 4, here's the result you can get. You just want to really make sure that you're focused on the result that people are going to receive. Super, super important that you kind of go through and step-by-step this. And the last thing you want to do in this process is obviously close. You want to close. Now, my advice from closing really hasn't changed. Number 1, I think you should always be yourself and be genuine. I don't think you should ever change yourself to make a sale. I think that's important. Number 2, I think I don't think you should have to bullshit people. Like, I don't think you should have to say something is worth $500,000 and then sell it for $50. Like, if you create great value stuff, you create great value stuff. If it's not great value, then hey, whatever it is, and but value is determined by the customer, not the entrepreneur. And I think it's really important to know that, especially in times like these. Like, we created a thing called Success Club 2020 during this period. And I mean, we've had it around, but we kind of updated it. And it's $100 a month. And you get tons of access to training and calls and softwares and services and yada, yada, yada. So much for $100. But at the end of the day, if you buy it and never log in or never use it or don't go on the calls, then the value is absolutely useless. You don't get anything out of it. You're just wasting your time and your money. But if you apply and go to the calls and you work on the stuff and you go through the modules and you go through the systems and use the softwares, the value could be 10 grand a month. It could be 2 grand a month. It could be $500 a month, whatever it is. If you equate it to financial value, that is. If you equate it to different kinds of value, then that's really depending on personally what you want. But value is always determined by the customer, not the entrepreneur. So I have a hard time when people kind of go right towards that. Okay, good. And then the last place you want to take them to is what's called the closing page. Now, what typically most closing pages look like are just a box and with here, put your credit card information in, and then maybe a little bit of text, and then maybe some images or something. But the challenge is that most people leave something when they're just about to buy something. That's when most of the decisions are made to get out of that. So you want to create a page that creates what's called the disruption. Okay, so your page should look something like this. Let me draw it for you. Almost done. So on this page, it should have a logo on the top left-hand corner. Underneath that's the credit card area. That's where they fill out their credit card. Underneath that's the checkout. In the top right's a 30-day money-back guarantee or some kind of a promise. Down the right-hand corner is testimonials. Those testimonials are based upon results. we use a software called mouseflow.com, mouseflow.com. And what happens is that when people are about to buy, that's when they try and leave. And the X is always on the right hand side of the page. So you want to add lots of disruption on this side of the page. Sorry, I'm in reverse here. So you want to add tons of disruption over here. And so that when people are trying to leave, they see the disruption and they come back to the credit card form. It's super simple way to just increase your conversion and make sure that people are staying and actually buying. And so it's a really simple way. I mean, this is just a really simple way to increase your conversion by pretty much doing very little extra work. Down the right-hand side are testimonials. Those testimonials all have to be based upon results. You want to make sure these testimonials are not videos, because if they're videos, they're going to click them, watch them, get distracted, and it doesn't work. You want to make sure you want to make sure on every single section is really focused on getting a person to say yes and move to the next step. Any questions on anything that we've gone over so far? I'm going to draw out a map that kind of reviews all this stuff. And look at that, we are on our last page, so this works out perfectly. I have filled up this entire notebook during quarantine just doing these calls. Isn't that pretty cool? Okay, so let's draw this out. We started with the corporate site, but we're taking the first place we take people to is the squeeze page. Then we take them to a sales page. Then we take them to the closing page, traffic gets sent here afterwards. Okay, so got a lot drawn out here, so let's go through this. So the first thing we have to understand is traffic. We have to be able to get, let's see which way is the best. Yes, the first place we have to do is traffic, and you have to have a good understanding where your traffic's going to come from. I think Facebook is probably the best place to do this. All right, then we're taking them to a squeeze page. The squeeze page is where we're giving them something for free. Okay, now, after the squeeze page, you're taking them to the sales page, but whether they buy or they don't buy, you have to start following up. If they only opted in to get the email, you start with email follow-up only. Okay, so on the first follow-up section, it'd be email follow-up only. Then you're taking them to a sales page. After the sales page, which you just talked about, you're taking them to the closing page. Now, after the closing page, you've now gotten more information if they bought something. So you want to follow up with this person in multiple methods. Obviously, email, and probably also via text or a phone call or a Facebook message if you get that data. And then after the closing page, you're going to send them back to the corporate site. Now, why is that? Well, it's because now the person is more familiar and they understand who you are and what you're doing. You could even send them to the corporate page after the squeeze page if they didn't buy. Through the follow-up, that is, and the goal here now is that you created someone that's familiar and have given them more information, so now they have a much higher chance of actually going to your corporate site and buying. And this is the layout of what a very simple funnel looks like that any of you can create during this period of time, and would take less than 5 to 10 days to put together. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty simple. And at the end of the day, like, I think the most important thing you have to understand is that, like, look, we're probably going to be living in a different world, and we have to adjust and go about things differently. And because of that, like, you have to adjust as a business owner. And if you're not going to adjust as a business owner, you might not make it as a business owner. And people are buying things online left and right, more so now than ever. And you should be definitely on there selling. If you have any questions whatsoever, fire away your questions. If you want to schedule or get access to a coaching call with me, you can text internet into 26786. You can text internet in to 26786. But I really wanted to spend some time today to break it down for you. What does a complete, simple but very effective funnel look like that all of you can get started with immediately? Let me check some of these pages and just make sure that I haven't missed any questions whatsoever.
Those, Facebook's probably the easiest, but we'll see it there. And
ooh, I don't know what that is. That's an old one. Okay. I think we've gotten I think I've only had like 2 questions. So you guys are just really not good at typing, or I'm really good at explaining stuff. Startup would not have testimonials. What do you suggest for them? I mean, if you don't have testimonials, I think you have to create them. Like you give away you give away whatever it is that you're offering to a few people and generate the results first before you start selling stuff. Like I'm not a big believer in like starting something up without having any user data first. Like even a startup should have someone that's gone through the product or service, or like I have a friend that just started a dog toy company, and before he sold it to anybody, he went out and made sure the dogs actually liked the toys. You wouldn't launch a toy company without knowing the fact that the dogs actually enjoy the toys, right? And so it doesn't matter what industry or niche that you're in, you just want to make sure you have some case studies done. Super, super important. I think pretty sure those are all the questions. But at the end of the day, guys, if you need some help with this stuff, you can text internet into 26786. Yeah, we talked about a funnel setup. It's anywhere from, depends on who's doing it, but 5 to 14 days. It depends on if you have the content and stuff ready. But if everything's ready, it doesn't take very long at all for our team to do it for you. I'm on Twitch. I don't see it, but cool. But yeah, it doesn't take very long. And if you guys want us to set it up for you, you could just text internet into 26786. You can also hit me up on Facebook too. I'm on Facebook. I know a few of you added me, which is cool. How many testimonials, and can they be one-line quotes? Yeah, I mean, totally. It doesn't matter if it's 2 testimonials or 3 testimonials. You just want to make sure these testimonials are focused on the results, right? And so it's not always about the length, it's about the quality. The video for the squeeze, there's no video on the squeeze page, but on the sales page, it should be around anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes tops. Now we got some questions coming in. Cool. I guess when I say you guys don't know how to type, you start writing questions. So I like that. I like that a lot.
It's just the way you explain things is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, by the way.
Thanks, brother.
It creates clarity, right? You're creating clarity, and it's just amazing.
First time doing it, so it always helps when you do it just once, I guess.
Did you get the last one about, because I got knocked off for a minute, about the how long does the video for the squeeze page?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, guys, if you want a session with me, you can text internet to 26786. We do these calls every single week, every single day of the week, except I think like on the weekends. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we are live every single day on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on everywhere. And we're here to help. We're totally here to help. Where can I find an example of one of these funnel videos? Pretty much anywhere on the internet that someone is selling a product. Like just go to any squeeze page and opt in, and you'll be sent to a page that's pretty similar to like this. Another question a bit off topic. I'm in the process of creating a website. Which you prefer for a one-person consulting company? I'm deciding between Wix. See, like I'm not a big fan of Wix or Squarespace personally. Like it's totally up to you, but it's hard because like Wix and Squarespace don't really give a shit if you sell or don't sell. They just care that you're getting paid every single month. And Wix and Squarespace aren't focused on selling your product and service. So I'd prefer to find someone that has some skin in the game or has really understood creating a one-person consulting company. I know it's probably not the answer that you wanted. I think they're both template building sites. So if you want a site that looks similar to hundreds of thousands of other people's, then they're both great. But I just think I think you can go to WordPress and find a nice, find a good designer to build you a much better, more professional site that you actually are in complete control and ownage of. And it depends what kind of consulting you're doing, I guess. But I think it's always better to own your own stuff. Do you use ClickFunnels? Yeah, I mean, Marquise, we use pretty much every funnel builder you can think of. We use funnel builders that you probably haven't even heard of. And we use all these different tools and systems, but they're used as tools and systems, not as end alls. Yeah, custom themes. So that's the way to meet your brand. 100% agree. So Diane, I'm sorry if I totally ruined your day by saying that, but it's just my own personal opinion. Like, I think it's always better to create your own. It might cost a little bit more. It might be a little bit more work, but in the long run, it's so much better. You're right. ClickFunnels is cool. Yeah, ClickFunnels is cool. Template builder. Really cool. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all. If you need a session, text internet into 26786. You guys were awesome today, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. And Michael, I appreciate you getting on here and helping me out here, and the whole team for setting this up. And it was a rock star. It was a rock star day. I really appreciate it all.
All right, fantastic, Austin. You were just amazing. Thank you so much.
Awesome job, buddy. Way to go. Great content, everybody. So yeah, definitely right away, take advantage of this. You're going to pay someone else thousands of dollars to get the same information you'll get from us in about 20 minutes to give you some of the insight. And I want to thank Michael also for plugging in and help managing all these. So take advantage of the offer today. Once again, just text internet to 26786. Get a coaching session set up. It might be, I really call it more of a strategy session than a coaching session. It's taking a look at your current funnel, your ideas, and then, of course, either give you some great ideas or see some ways that we can work together on it. And you can have a product, not have a product. You can be launching something brand new, maybe just looking for leads. All of those really fit into a funnel like this that can generate interest, convert the interest to a presentation or a consult with you that then turns into customers. So, Austin, thanks so much. I'll let you run.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for being a part of Power Team Live today and being a part of the event. We have these each week, so make sure you share this with your friends. And don't forget, we got our Success Summit going tomorrow. Definitely get plugged in for that. SuccessSummit360.com. Also get access to our free membership. Go to SuccessClub2020.com. Get access to some free information there. You'll get the same link by texting internet right now to 26786. Hopefully this 45 minutes has been super helpful for you, but now it's your time to take action. If you know for a fact that you're looking for fresh ways to get leads, get better conversions, get new ideas in your current web funnel, or maybe you're starting something from scratch, maybe to sell your book, sell your product, sell your next idea, maybe even just come up with a way to survey clients to bring on more clients. It's a great way right now. Get the strategy session, let them look over what you're working on, see if there's some ideas, see if there's ways you can work together. Other than that, I want to thank everybody. I appreciate you taking the time this afternoon to get plugged in. And don't forget that success is always a process, not an event. Thanks, Austin. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, our whole team for making this possible. Everyone out there have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you soon, either digitally or hopefully at one of our next live events. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye-bye for now.